This July 26th, we come together in celebration of Mama Liberia's 177th Independence Day, or as I like to say, her 177th birthday. Liberia is a land full of opportunity, history, culture, and diversity. So in celebration of the 26th this year, I took the liberty to educate viewers on some of the musical culture present in Liberia and how it's found its way across the Atlantic into America. Though Liberian music is part of a wider West African music heritage, Liberia has its own distinct collection of ancient music and instruments. Drums for us as a nation are among the most widely used in both official and non-official ceremonies, such as weddings, christenings, naming ceremonies, holidays, and etc. Next to drums, another percussive instrument widely used is the beaded gourd known as the sasa, which is utilized in mainstream music by singers, musicians, and ensembles across our rich land. Because percussion is such an integral part of our music culture and heritage, I just had to interview one of the most talented Americo-Liberians I knew, well-versed in all things beat related. This interview went as followed. Hey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
Can't complain. So excited to talk to you, meet up with you and whatnot. Cool. So I have a couple questions just to ask you. And we can start out by you letting everybody know your name, your age, who you are.
So I am Washington Kofi. I am 32 years of age, based here out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a first-generation Liberian American. And what I do is music. I have a brand which is called Africa Live. I've served my community here for a very long time in the drumming and music capacity. And my goal is to make a difference, as a Liberian in this world musically.
Okay. So you say that you're a musician. What do you play?
So I play the drums professionally.
Professional drummer. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what made you start wanting to play the drums?
So it was a family affair. I really didn't have a choice. So everyone in my family is musically inclined. All my brothers and sisters play some sort of musical instrument. But what pushed me was the love. My father started a church here in Charlotte in about 2006. So at first, it wasn't necessarily love that pushed me to want to strive myself. It was to prove some of my family members wrong, that I did have what it took, and then from then, that spirit just turned into love, and since then, it's love that's carried me so far.
Okay, beautiful. So how do you feel being a Liberian drummer or professional musician here in the States? What does that mean to you?
First, how I feel alone. There's not so many of us. There's not really an extremely big music culture so far as Liberians. And what does it mean to me? It means to be a hustler. I think being a Liberian, period, means you hustle. Again, in this music game, entertainment game, African music game, pretty much alone. So anywhere I stand, I'm alone. I'm always just the one Liberian, so part of, many different scenes that I'm on. So for me, it means to hustle.
And you say that means to hustle. Are there any older generation Liberian artists that may have influenced you with their hustle?
I wouldn't really say I know their hustles, but people that did influence me was like Cesar Gato, Sunday God Diabo, Miata Fambule, of course. What's my name? Liberia. I can't remember her name at this moment, but there are much more gospel artists that I'd say that influenced me. My father is a bishop. Like I said, I grew up around not so much of African culture. I was always able to hear crew music. My family's crew, both sides, but to get into just popular music that was readily available to Liberians, it wasn't until I was about in high school and stuff like that. So definitely some cool influences. But again, like, you know, we don't truly document so many things. So unless you're a Liberian, unless you're African, like you don't know how to find these things. So they're just not readily available to you.
Right, right. Okay, so last question before we wrap things up. What do you think, as a younger person, or being a portion of the younger generation post migration of us, diaspora, I guess you could say, back over here since the war, what do you think that the older generation can learn from us in general, and then musically?
We fit anywhere. That's basically it. We fit anywhere. We grew up in African households, but all of our outside surroundings were American or whatever else, you know, wherever place you had to be. You know, being that Liberia is the first republic in all of Africa,
Right.
you know, we're good at coining things. So for us to fit different places is always extremely easy. So us as, you know, the younger generation, as myself, you know, first generation Liberian American born, it's almost like a superpower that we have, because we just fit. We can go here, we can do this, we can stand with the best of them, we can always, you know, just do things smoothly. So I think that's maybe what the older generation can learn from us, is that, like, you know, we just know how to fit.
Mr. Kofi, thank you for taking your time out to do this interview with us, and I can't thank you enough, you know.
I really appreciate it, man.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too, bro.
All right.
Thanks.
Now, some popular styles of music present in Liberia include bema, other traditional styles, various music influenced by religion, palm wine music, high life, Afrobeat, reggae, rap, jazz, funk, soul, and a newer style of music known as hip-hop, which combines rap, R&B, traditional rhythms with Liberian and American influence. The second person I interviewed carried her talents across many borders to influence the world without holding herself to a specific genre. Both a powerful singer, songwriter, and activist, she is a common household name amongst Liberians all across the globe. She studied at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, performed in many venues like the Apollo Theater and others, working with the Negro Ensemble Company in New York. She sang at the inauguration of President William R. Tolbert Jr., toured both Europe and Africa with Hugh Masekela, and performed at the World Black Festival of Arts and Culture in Lagos. Her discography includes songs like Koko Lioko, Just For You, and The Message of the Revolution. We all know her as the illustrious Miata Famu, so let's hang tight and witness some of the wisdom given to us by an icon we all admire.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Cousin Miata?
I'm doing good, thank you.
That's good to hear.
How's everything on your side?
Everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, I needed to call you because I wanted to feature you in a interview for this year's 26 that they're doing with the community in Maryland.
Okay.
Okay, so I had like a series of questions or things that I thought that I should ask you. I just wanted it to flow naturally. And the first thing I would ask you is, when did you start doing music?
That's a heavy loaded question, because I can always say I must have started about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh wow! So really early.
So, yeah.
Really early. What made you start?
I had a grandmother who was very much involved in the church, and especially the evangelical church. She used to go to church almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they needed a babysitter at that time, so she would take me with her down to Presbyterian Church or the Prophet Church on Center Street, etc. And that is where my love for music developed, in those settings.
Okay.
And I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow, that is okay. That makes I'm seeing a trend here. um, yeah, I'm
Next
definitely
question.
seeing a trend. Okay, so after, being in the church, when did you sort of break away, or I guess you could say start doing your own thing aside from what was going on within the church?
Well, I left that setting. I left that setting that was in Liberia at 9 and went to England. And obviously, that environment had also its influence on me, because that was the first time I was seeing young girls. I was 9 at the 10. I was seeing 14, 15-year-old girls on television doing pop songs and stuff. And I just wanted to do it too.
Really?
And so I always sang. I went to boarding school, but there I got involved in the music, etc. So the singing and the music's always been there.
Wow. Interesting. How would you say it was being a Liberian living in the UK?
The time for us, we were a privileged bunch.
Mm-hmm.
We were a privileged bunch in that the migration from the colonies or from Africa had not really started in full. Okay, so basically, we who were over there were either attached to the embassy or the wealthier in the society send their children abroad.
Okay.
And so for us, and it was, it was great. It was great growing up there. You were open to all kinds of opportunities, etc., museums and this and that. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at that time.
That's really cool. So I see a lot of church influence based upon the regions that you resided in. Would you say there were any particular musicians that may have influenced you?
Like I said, from Liberia to England, I saw the British girls, the European girls singing. And it probably wasn't until I was maybe 12 years old, I saw Miriam Makeba for the first time singing Pata Pata.
Pata Pata.
And it was like, oh, wow. Because during the era that we were born and where I was coming from in my society, women were not involved in the secular singing. Women would be involved in the church singing and choral singing, but they wouldn't be involved in songs like Pata Pata. So seeing Miriam Makeba do it, it was like, oh, okay, so we can do it too. And that was the motivation, I guess. That was the inspiration that I had seen a black woman do it. And yes, I saw an African woman doing it, because in all truth, you had Shirley Bassey in London at the time who was doing it, but she was not, she was not an African woman. She was a British African woman. So that was what, made me realize that, yes, indeed, we can do it.
That's very cool. That's very, very cool. Okay, I'm trying to think, because now you have my gears working. So As far as style, I know you said you had heavy church influence, a lot of pop, and what was just current relevant in that time being pop. As far as your musical journey, what would you say or consider yourself? I know artists don't like to be pigeonholed into one box, but what would you say your genre or your favorite genre performing would be?
No, because and like you said, we don't like to be pigeonholed. And I've been asked this question before, and I tried to see what is a suitable answer, because I simply say my music is African music. My music is African music, and even with all of the injection, the fusion of other music, I still bring it down to the African music. For instance, I didn't hear country and western in America or Britain. I heard country and western music in Liberia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from the 50s and 60s when we were growing up, you'd hear country music all the time on the radio. You understand? And sometimes when I listen to my ballads, etc., I say, they won't sound like from the 50s. Yes, but the music, all the fusion of music, because I was there in England. When I went to Kenya, I fed on their music and the East African music. One of my most favorite songs that I perform is Malaika. I heard that in Nairobi, Kenya. I didn't hear it from any other artist out of Kenya, and then I've, of course, spent time in Nigeria. I've spent time in Ghana, Sierra Leone. So all of those places make me up and therefore make up my music.
That's very cool.
Yes?
That's very cool. That's powerful. That's very powerful.
Okay.
So this year I attacked two topics, and you actually covered one of them. That was being somewhere else and living in different places as a Liberian, as an artist. But then now you have a new generation post-war that
Yes.
all of us are being born in different countries, and it seems to be a disconnect, but a lot of us do art. And the next question would be, do you think that there's anything that older generations could learn from younger artists, younger inspiring artists out here?
Oh, of course, because for to say there's nothing we can learn means that we've dismissed that generation, or we don't think they're up to par or whatnot. No, every single generation has in there geniuses, talented people. Every single generation, and it's simply that we have not nurtured it, especially from our society that has gone through civil war, disruption, so much division and so much hatred, etc. It's difficult. I listen to some of the music and I say, oh wow, but only if he could do it this way or better. Do you understand, from the musical point of view? But we have so many talented people over there. And yes, I do believe we have to learn. We have to learn. Our family now. I saw you partying.
Thank you. But all right, cuz, much love to you. Thank you for taking your time out.
Okay, darling.
All right, take it easy.
Anytime. All right, baby.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Now that we are well informed about some of the musical culture, achievements, and diversity we all share amongst each other as Liberians, I have faith that we will feel a deepened sense of pride this Independence Day. This is Jehasmile Freeman. I thank you all for tuning in to this short, informative interview. And remember, my 26 on you all. Farewell.